Hello YouTube, it's Learn123 again. Today we are going to field strip and do a review on this Star Model P 45 ACP handgun. This was actually used by my grandfather during the Korean War as a service weapon. You can see the markings predate a lot of the laws that we have on marking firearms now, and don't worry, this weapon is grandfathered in. I believe they even qualify as C&R, Curio, and Relics. So very similar to the 1911, except we don't have the squeeze safety. I believe they call it a dovetail or a beaver tail safety or backstrap squeeze safety. You don't have that with this Star. But other than that, very similar to the Colt 1911 45. Now let's take a look. This is going to be part of the field strip, okay? So when I say push the button on the other side, this is actually the other side of this slide catch, okay? And that's also the takedown pin. One other feature that this weapon has is a half-cock safety, okay? And it will not fire in this condition, okay? And so we have kind of a double safety here. This is a thumb safety, okay? Works pretty well. This is the magazine release. So first thing we want to do is make sure it's unloaded. It had bullets in it. I made those. Those are 200 grain semi-wad cutters. And they work really great for target shooting and personal defense because they're frangible. So where do we start with a field strip on this weapon? First, we have to get this barrel bushing off, but we forgot one other safety thing. We've got to make sure there's not one bullet in the chamber, so let's do that. So we're going to lock the slide back by pressing up here after pulling back the slide. And that's what it looks like with the slide back. Chamber is empty. Okay, let's field strip this puppy. Now it has to be cocked like this, so again, safety, safety, safety. Do not do this when it is loaded. Make double sure this thing is unloaded before you field strip it. So to get this barrel bushing off, we have to push this button and then rotate it off. Now be careful because this is under spring pressure and it can shoot out at you. And these Stars have sharp edges on them. It's already cut me before. So okay, let's get started. So I'm basically going to push this down. Now this is pretty tight, so I may have to move it off camera real quick. I'm going to try and get it there. See? And then you can kind of shimmy it off of there and then just try to retain this so it doesn't fly out under spring pressure. And it's almost out. There it is. Alright. So, step one, make sure it's unloaded. Step two, get it like this. Now you can't pull this spring out, okay? It has a retainer inside of the frame. So now to get the slide off, we have to take a look at this smaller notch here. This smaller notch is also important for when we're putting the gun back together. And this is the step where the gun must be cocked. So we now work the slide backward until this notch mates up with that little lug on the top of, it's really just a space marker for field stripping purposes, but on this slide catch. Now, remember that button on the other side? Now we press that out toward us. You see it lifting? See it? Okay. So we might have to work the slide a little bit. There we go. And now we should be able to get this out of there. Alright. Takedown pin and slide catch. Amazing design. Thank you, John Browning. Alright, now what do we do? Step 3 is done. Now, without the takedown pin, the entire slide assembly should come right off. So we just bring it forward. And now we have the frame. So now you can clean that. So now how do we get this stuff out of here? Step 4. You'll see that this moves. You cannot get the barrel out without laying that down. And then you cannot reassemble it without putting this lug back up. Okay? So first, we got to slide all this back. Then we can get the spring assembly out. And there's the pesky bugger that wouldn't let us pull it out the front. Okay, so we just make sure that that concave spot is pointing downward when we reassemble. And then the barrel, final step, we just make sure that this part is down, and then we can pull the barrel right out the front. Oh, I forgot one thing, the bushing. Now this is keyed, so actually, you know, maybe just working the barrel can kind of, it just gets stuck sometimes, so give it a little tap, might loosen it up. I can imagine being in a foxhole and trying to make this thing work. So if this thing isn't cooperating, you can give it a little tap on the bushing itself, and that'll rotate it enough. Now this is keyed. You see that? That key lug right there that fits into this slot, that's the only way to get it back on. Okay? So pay attention to that when you're putting it back on. And now the barrel comes out and we're done. Now you can clean your weapon to your heart's content. Scrub that barrel. So let's reassemble. Okay, first we put the barrel back. We lift this retainer lug. We put the bushing back, making sure that the key goes into the slot. We leave it sideways for now. We put the spring back, making sure to put the concave facing down because it's meant to go against that round edge of the barrel. So we get that bushing out of the way so the spring can come through. Now we have to rotate it back the other way, see, to make room. And then, here we go. We can put this on, it might fall off, I don't know. Okay. Again, be careful right here, we got sharp edges that'll bite you. So, we just get the slide onto the frame rails, see? Okay. And then we slide that whole thing back. Now we get our takedown pin, and if you look through this hole right here, you can see that you can kind of line that barrel lug hole up with where it's supposed to be, just right about there. Okay, because to put it back together, we also have to have this notch over this hole. Remember, because we had to have that notch here to take the takedown pin out. So let's just double check here, make sure everything's correct. We got all this here. Now we put this pin back in. And we might have to work the slide back and forth a little bit so that it wants to cooperate. But again, just that little notch is the guide. See why? That's why. Now, it's snapped into place. That's a good sign. Now, we let the slide all the way forward. Again, this is cocked. Don't let it bite you here. We put the barrel bushing retainer back onto the mainspring. And then we're going to push that back in and rotate this bushing back over it. So when it's like this, you don't have to put so much force on it anymore. You're almost out of the woods now. And when it snaps into place, you're done. Now this weapon will function effortlessly. Thank you for watching. If you learned something, if you liked the video, please like, subscribe. If you have any interesting information about this weapon, I'm always looking to learn more. But please like, comment, subscribe if you liked the video. And if you have any questions or comments about other related pistols or any other information about this weapon, I would gladly approve your comments on the page. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.